All right, we're following breaking news in Osceola County right now. A massive fire at a scrapyard has closed down a nearby road in Kissimmee. Now, check this out. Sky 13, is flying over it right now. You can see the area absolutely surrounded by first responders, the fire department, several trucks already spraying water into that. Now, the good thing, at least from our view, obviously we're looking at this from above, you can't really see any flames currently, but you do see a lot of thick black smoke, and you can see also, fortunately, I don't see any ambulances in the vicinity here. So here is a full shot of what's happening right now. Thank you for joining us this evening here on Spectrum News 13 at 5. I'm AsheriWildman.
And I'm Ibeth Bruswal. We are watching history unfold right now.
Ibeth, it is the first time a U.S. president has dropped out of a re-election run in decades. The last time was Lyndon Johnson in the 60s.
Spectrum News.
And tonight, leaders on both sides are reacting to these new developments in the 2024 race. Senior Democrat Nancy Pelosi releasing a statement on X saying, quote, President Joe Biden is a patriotic American who's always put our country first. His legacy of vision, values, and leadership make him one of the most consequential presidents in American history. Democratic State Representative Anna Eskamani tells us this is a historic moment for the party.
I think this is the best choice for American democracy.
And Ebeth, we're also hearing from President Biden's opponent, former President Donald Trump. He said President Biden, quote, was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve and never was. He goes on to say, quote, we will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage he has done very quickly.
All that to you. I know it's a mix. All right. Have a great night.
We do know, according to Chief, there were about 50 to 100,000 people in downtown Orlando late last night, as well as early this morning. 6 people, as Julie mentioned, now recovering at ORMC. The Chief Smith saying they're in stable condition. But a couple interesting things the Chief pointed out. First off, he says the Chief believes this was a targeted attack on at least one individual. But he also said when he was asked, are the police able to monitor who's bringing in what to downtown? And a lot of this changed with legislation. There are no checkpoints in downtown Orlando currently, but he also says, point blank, he said, quote, there's no idea what they have on them, meaning people coming into downtown. This gentleman, clearly 17-year-old, we're not naming him just because of our crime guidelines. He's not been charged as an adult yet. We're waiting to see that because that was even addressed to our state attorney, Andrew Bain, as well, as he's continuing to get the details on this case now. Thank you for joining us here on Spectrum News 13. I'm AsheriWildman. Greg Bennett, our meteorologist this evening. He's in the Weather Center tracking some thunderstorms. We'll get to him in just a moment, but first let's get to some of those top stories in 90 seconds. And hey, we are continuing to follow breaking news out of the swamp. The University of Florida has fired head football coach Billy Napier. The Gators owe him more than $21 million for the remainder of his 7-year contract. Billy Gonzalez will now serve as interim head coach. The Gators are off this coming weekend before their big rivalry matchup with Georgia in Jacksonville. In national news, lawmakers are expected to return to Capitol Hill tomorrow to vote on a spending package that could end the government shutdown. The federal government ran out of money at the beginning of the month, and there's still no agreement to reopen it. Right now, federal workers continue to work without pay, and others are furloughed until there is a resolution. In case you weren't with us this afternoon when we brought it to you live, we had the chance to see a successful launch for SpaceX this afternoon. A Falcon 9 rocket took off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station around 1:40 in the afternoon, bringing another batch of Starlink satellites into orbit. This was the 31st mission for the first stage booster, and after stage separation, it landed on a drone ship stationed out in the Atlantic Ocean. All right, well, now let's get a check of your forecast right now with Greg Bennett, who, as I mentioned, tracking some showers in the Weather Center. Well, we start this hour with breaking news from the University of Florida. The school has fired head football coach Billy Napier. Napier went 22-23 in his 4 seasons with the Gators, including a 3-4 record in 2025. Napier came to Florida in 2022 after 4 seasons as head coach at Louisiana. In a statement, the athletic director, Scott Strickland, says, quote, we exist to win and will not settle for less. I had the chance to speak with a father of one of the players on this year's team, and he offered his thoughts on Napier, also sharing these kind words.
So the first thing is,
Billy Gonzalez will serve as interim head coach. Florida's next game is Saturday, November 1st against Georgia. That game obviously in Jacksonville for the largest cocktail party. Don't forget, for the latest on the firing of Billy Napier and the next steps for the Florida athletic program, stay with Spectrum News 13 on air and online, as well as on the free Spectrum News app. Revved up engines and roaring crowds. It is that time of year again over in Daytona Beach. Thousands of bikers coming into town for the annual Biketoberfest. As Spectrum News 13's Ashley Engel explains, it's a 4-day celebration that also packs a major economic punch. All right, well, here in the month of October, we know it's that time of year where pumpkin patches are hard to miss around Central Florida. But for churches in the area, the fall is also vital for meeting fundraising goals, and those fall traditions can bring in some serious cash. Spectrum News 13's Emma Delamo joining us live in Longwood tonight. Emma, what are volunteers trying to raise money for this year?
Asher, back to you.
All right, Emma, thank you for that live report tonight. Well, let's go back to the Weather Center now with Greg Bennett. Greg, just for the record, me and my kids who are redheads, we will not be the Weasleys. Okay. We will not be wildlings.
That's fair.
So just TBD.
Send it back to you.
We got Christmas this weekend. Want to bring in Chris Gilson. Chris, look, I've been in TV long enough to know you always ask the weatherman or weatherwoman on the weekend of Christmas, is it going to snow this weekend? Are we going to have a white Christmas?
No, but we're going to get close enough.
Thank you, Jeff. Still ahead on News 13. Thousands remain without power 48 hours after the storm moved through. How Hurricane Ian left a lasting impression on Volusia County. Maureen, I was in Volusia County yesterday. I was inland. Guy found an eel in a parking lot. Oh.
I heard you experienced that yesterday.
Next year on Spectrum News, venturing into floodwaters. Why? Up next on Spectrum News 13, we'll show you the challenges tow truck drivers face to pull hundreds of stalled out cars from floodwaters. Rob, the look I give people when I see this happen, just...
It's got to make the tow truck drivers happy, though, right? Keeps them in business.
But now it's time to check back in with certified meteorologist Zach Covey. And Zach, I'm telling you right now, I win that Powerball, I'm not going to be here tomorrow.